Do you think your dog looks at you like a human being? What if I told you? That's not the case. In fact, it's completely different. Every time its gaze meets yours with those big, round, loving eyes, you believe it's looking at its owner. But actually, in the world of dogs, what they see is far stranger and far deeper. The tail gently wagging, the warm breath next to you every evening, the soft sigh when they curl up at your feet for them, it's not just love, it's instinct. It's a memory of thousands of years of bonding between dogs and humans, something that language can never fully express. Scientists have found that when a dog looks into its owner's eyes, its brain lights up in the regions associated with love and safety, though not in the same way as it reacts to other dogs. They don't treat you as another dog nor as a stranger. In their minds, you are the in-between. You are the scent, the breath, the familiar sound that makes them feel at ease. And that is the beautiful paradox in the friendship between humans and dogs. While we are still trying to understand them, they somehow have already understood us in a way that science is only beginning to touch. In this video, we'll explore the surprising truth about how dogs truly see humans and why this might cause you to never look at them the same way again. Part 1. How Dogs Truly See You. Everything begins with the eyes, the doorway into the sensory world of dogs. They do not see the vibrant world of colors as humans do. With their eyes, dogs only see two main hues, yellow and blue. Everything else, from the red ball you throw to them to the shirt you wear, becomes dull, muted, and blended. But for them, color is not important. What grabs their attention isn't color, but movement, shape, and scent. If you smile, they may not notice the wrinkle at the corner of your eye. But if you tilt your head, lower your shoulders, or breathe a soft sigh, they immediately pick it up. Motion is their language. A slight lean, a step, a breath, all are signals that the dog reads like invisible lines of text. The wonder is that dogs read emotion through your posture and body energy without needing to see your face clearly. They don't need to recognize you from a photo or a mirror. Just the sound of your footsteps or your familiar scent in the house is enough for them to know that human belongs to me. In a dog's view, you are not just a figure. You are the rhythm, the warmth, the safe feeling they always seek amid the chaos of sounds and smells outside. Every time you walk through the door, their world realigns. Every time you leave, that space suddenly feels void, not because the person is gone, but because the familiar breath is missing. So next time your dog stares at you for a long time, don't just think that it's looking at its owner. Perhaps in that gaze, it's looking at its own heart, the reflection of the one it calls home. Part 2. Dogs recognize you by energy, not appearance. What's interesting is dogs don't need to see your face clearly to know who you are. They sense you by energy, not by appearance. For humans, recognition is through the eyes, but for dogs, it's a vibration. They read you by how you move, by your breathing pattern, by the weight of your footsteps when you're tired, or by a quiet sigh after a long day. If your mood is heavy, the dog slows down, lies still. If you're happy, they wag their tail, leap in the air, as if the light inside you has touched them. You might change your hairstyle, shave your beard, or wear a weird outfit, they don't care. But if your energy changes even slightly, they sense it immediately. Because in a dog's world, you aren't a shape. You are a moving emotion. When you're calm, they feel safe. When you're tense, they hang back a little, waiting for you to reclaim your breath. And when you're happy, just your smile alone, their tail will wag on its own. Researchers at University of Tokyo have shown that dogs can hear human emotions through heart rate and vocal tone. In other words, they don't just see you, they feel you. Many people still think dogs bond with us because of food, but the truth is they bond because of the energy you emit. When you walk into a room in a peaceful mood, gentle gaze, relaxed body in their world, that's the signal for home, for safety. So if one day you come home from work and find your dog snuggling against your leg, don't assume they only want to play. They might be trying to say, I know you were tired today. I'm here. Because to a dog, you are not just a human. You are the rhythm, the breath, the safe quiet in the middle of their everyday. In their mind, you are the place to return to. Part 3. Dogs see you as a member of the pack. When your dog gently touches your hand, lays its head on your knee, or curls up next to you, that's not just a cute gesture. It's the language of the pack, a behavior imprinted in the canine instinct after thousands of years of evolution from wolves. In nature, wolves live by one another. Every member of the pack plays a role, protect, share, nurture. And when humans entered the life of dogs, they didn't abandon that habit. They just extended the definition of pack, and you are part of that circle. When a dog leans gently against your leg, that's how they rest among their pack in nature. When they lick your hand or nudge your face with their nose, it's a bonding act like how pups are licked by their mother to feel reassured. When they bring a toy to place in front of you, it's not just they want to play, it's a gift, their way of expressing I trust you. You are part of my pack. They follow you everywhere, from the living room to the kitchen, not because they fear loneliness, but because that is the instinct to maintain safe distance within the pack. Near each other they feel order, stability. When you leave the house, suddenly loses its rhythm. And then there are the moments that put us silent. When you go to work, your dog sits calmly at the door, not waiting for the car or your footsteps, but holding the place for its pack, waiting for the gap to be filled. In their eyes, you may not be another dog, but in their heart, you are family. Not because of strength or status, but because of presence, warmth, and love. Because for dogs, pack isn't a biological term. It's a bond of souls trusting each other. And you are the center of that trust. Part 4. You aren't just the human, you're their parent. This section makes many dog owners pause, because the longer you live with them, the more you realize they don't only see us as owners. To them, we are parents. The place they return to when they're scared, when they are lonely. When they were puppies, they learned to live dependent on their mother, seeking warmth, nursing milk, hearing her breath, sleeping beside her warm body. When they grow up, that instinct doesn't disappear, it simply shifts to the one they trust most, you. When you leave home, they pace near the door, whimpering quietly. When you return, just a hand touch, their entire body trembles in delight. These behaviors are not purely cute. They are the kind of attachment between child and mother, a deep emotional form that science calls imprinting. Researchers have demonstrated that when a dog and its human look at each other lovingly, the hormone oxytocin, the maternal affection hormone, rises in both. That means in the moment you pet them or when they nestle into your lap, both brain and heart are speaking the language of love. When a dog licks your hand, presses its body to you, or rubs its head against your thigh, it's the memory of childhood, the feeling of being protected. To them, you are the safest place in the world. They may not understand the concept of parent in the human sense, but their hearts know clearly the role belongs to you. Sometimes you don't recognize it, but those times they lie quietly beside your feet, silently watching you work. That is their way of being close to their mother, a closeness that needs no words. And in those moments, their world shrinks, leaving only your warmth, your heartbeat, and your familiar scent. Because to them, you are not the owner. You are the mother, the shelter, their entire universe. Part 5. The emotional tether between dog and human. Many people still think dogs bond with us because of food, because of habit, or because they're trained, but the truth is gentler. They bond because of emotion. Dogs don't just know to obey, they know how to feel. When you're sad, your shoulders slump, your voice goes low. They don't need to look into your eyes to understand. They simply come over, lie beneath your feet as though saying, I know, I'm here. When you're happy, your voice is higher, your eyes bright. Even just your smile is enough to make their tail wag non-stop. They don't need a reason. They just need to be present beside your emotion. And that is what makes the relationship between human and dog so strangely sacred. Not a relationship of owner and pet, but of two souls willing to listen to each other. Researchers at Animal Cognition found that a dog's brain reacts differently when hearing a happy or sad voice of its owner. They don't understand the words, but they understand the tone. They don't know why, but they know what you're feeling. When you are ill, they lie beside you. When you cry, they lick your hand. When you are silent too long, they bring you a toy not for you to play with, but for you to hold. They remember you not for the meal, but for the warmth in how you touch them. They bond not because of fear, but because of trust. The trust that by your side they are safe, loved, and can be themselves. They store memories of you not by image, but by emotion. The way you called their name with a laugh, the way you petted them every evening, the way you slowed your breath when you saw them lying quietly nearby. For a dog, love does not need to be taught, it only needs to be felt. And when they love you, it's not because you're the owner, but because you are the person who makes their heart feel at ease. Part 6. Dogs are an emotional mirror of you. If you pay attention closely, you'll notice a dog's mood changes according to your emotion. When you're stressed, they become more cautious. When you're sad, they quietly come beside you, lie still. And when you're happy, you smile just a few seconds later, their tail is wagging, their eyes shimmering. Not coincidence. That's the instinct of empathy. Dogs don't just see your emotion, they absorb and reflect it. Scientists have shown that dogs can sense changes in your hormones like cortisol when you're anxious or oxytocin when you're happy. They read your breathing, your heartbeat, even your body scent when you're tense. So when you're worried, they step more slowly, they look at you with a querying gaze. When you're quiet, they softly settle beside your leg, saying nothing, just calm. And when you release your weight, they finally stretch, yawn, then lie down as though you both just exhaled a relieved breath together. Dogs live fully in the present, but that present is interwoven with your energy. They don't ask what you're going through, they simply be what you need. When you're weak, they become a support. When you're lost, they become your guiding gaze. And that's exactly why every time you look into those eyes, remember you are not just looking at a dog, you are seeing an emotional version of yourself, honest, pure, and unjudged. Their world revolves around your emotion. And sometimes the best way to make them happy is to start by making yourself peaceful. Part 7. Territory and the sense of safety. Why you are the center of a dog's world. Dogs are territorial creatures. But their territory is not the lawn or a corner of the yard, it's wherever you are. In the mind of each dog, the home isn't just a physical space. It's an emotional map where every little corner, every sound, every smell is linked to you. The chair you sit in, the sound of your footsteps on the wooden floor, the smell of your morning coffee, even the noise when you open the closet to grab the leash for a walk, they all create the stable world that they cling to day by day. And when you leave, that world loses its rhythm. They don't understand you go to work. They only sense that the central energy is gone. The space becomes empty. The scent fades, the familiar warmth is no longer there. You might see them lying near the door waiting. But in truth, they are holding your place on their map. They sit there not because they are sad, but because they believe you'll return. And when you come back, just the door opening a greeting, everything realigns again, the territory is completed. Research from the journal, Science shows dogs mark space by scent, and especially the scent of the owner is central in that map. Without that scent, everything becomes unfamiliar. To a dog, you are not the person living in the house, you are the heart of the house. When you are present, everything has meaning. When you are gone, their whole world stops spinning. So next time you see your dog lying watchfully by the door or running circles when you return, don't just think they're happy. In fact, they are celebrating because their world has just been completed again. Because for dogs, territory is not about possession, it's where the heart finds peace. And that peace is you. Part 8. Body language. When dogs understand you without words. Have you ever wondered how your dog knows what you mean before you even speak? You just stood up and it went for the leash. You furrowed your brow and it stopped playing immediately. You sighed and it came to lie quietly beside you. Not magic. That's body language, the silent language that dogs read better than any other species. Dogs don't understand each word you say. They understand the energy hidden in how you move. When you walk slowly, shoulders relaxed, they feel safe. When you approach fast, voice high, eyes intense, they recognize something's not right. For them, a deep breath of yours means more than a command. They watch every detail, how you place your foot, how you bend, even how your eyes move. Everything is a signal. And the wonderful thing is, they respond not with reason, but with an instinctive empathy. When you are calm, the dog feels comfortable. When you are angry, they become alert. When you are tired, they don't demand to play. They silently approach, rest their head on your leg as if saying, I understand. Over thousands of years living with humans, dogs have evolved to read us not through words, but through the rhythm and emotion of our bodies. And that is why they become the only species on this planet that can understand the language of our hearts without learning a single word. So next time you want to teach your dog something, don't just think about your voice or a command. Think about the energy you're sending out, because to them, that is the real language. Keep your shoulders soft, your breath, slow your gaze, gentle, and you'll see your dog doesn't just obey you, but listens to you with its entire heart. Part 9. Emotional tone. When your voice is music in a dog's world. Dogs don't understand our language. but they understand our voice in a way that even we might not recognize. Before they learned sit, stand, or good boy, they first learned the emotional tone in your voice. A high and light tone, to them, means joy, means it's safe. A low and fast tone means warning, means pay attention, something is happening. They don't hear each word, they hear the emotional melody beneath it. To a dog, every sentence is a melody. Your voice when you call them in the morning, the laugh when they do something silly, the warm good boy all become audio memories stored in their mind. And surprisingly, a dog's brain reacts to your voice similarly to how a baby's brain responds to its mother's voice. Many people don't notice, but just by changing how you speak, the dog knows what you want. When you speak in a positive, gentle energy, they listen, tail wagging slowly. But if your tone is a bit stressed, they lower their head, ears droop as if trying to soothe you. To them, your voice isn't just sound, it's a sign of emotion, safety, closeness, trust. Like music, your voice sets the rhythm in their life. So next time you speak to your dog, speak with all your heart. Because to them, every sound you make, even just come here or good job, is a lullaby. It's a song of love. Part 10. The type of emotional attachment. A dog forms and what it says about you. Just like humans, dogs form an emotional attachment style with you. This may sound odd, but animal psychologists have discovered that dogs develop bonds similar to children bonding with parents. And that attachment style, secure, anxious, avoidant, says a lot about how you love, how you care, and how you show up in their lives. A securely attached dog is the dog that can be calm when you leave, yet still greets you happily when you return. They believe you will come back because you always do. They play freely, are independent, yet still reach for you when they want. That is the best attachment style, where trust is absolute without needing to cling. An anxious attachment dog is different. They fear that you will leave, worry that you won't come back. They follow you from room to room, not because they want attention, but because they've never been sure that this love is forever. Sometimes just one time you left too long, or one time you forgot to say goodbye, that mark is etched in their mind. And then there are the avoidant dogs. Quiet, less demonstrative, but you will notice they always keep a safe distance. They once loved, once trusted, yet somewhere in memory, that trust was broken. They love you, it's just they don't dare to love fully. All those attachment types say less about the dog's personality and more about the energy you brought into their world. If you are patient, gentle, loving, consistent, you help them learn that the world is safe and love never fades. But if you are hurried, distant, or inconsistent, they will learn to defend themselves, to fear, or to depend. Can you see now? The way a dog looks at you, responds to your departure or return, is the mirror reflecting how you love them. And the most beautiful thing is dogs don't hold on to the past. They are ready to forgive, ready to begin again as long as you are sincere. Because to them, every day with you is a new chance to love. Part 11. Breaking the misunderstanding. A dog's loyalty isn't just instinct, but emotion. People often say, dogs are loyal because of instinct. But if you've ever looked into a dog's eyes when you came home, you'll understand that what keeps them by your side isn't instinct, it's love. Instinct helps them survive. But emotion is what makes them choose to stay with you, even when no one forces them. Researchers at Emory University scanned dog brains and discovered when they hear their owner's voice, their emotional region, not the instinctive region, lights up. That means they feel joy, sadness, and attachment just like humans. Dogs aren't loyal because they get food. They are loyal because they choose to love. They remember you not for the reward, but because their heart is tied to your presence. When you leave, they wait. When you return, they rejoice. When you are sad, they quietly lie beside you. That isn't behavior, that is empathy at its deepest. A kind of love that doesn't need words. Somebody says, dogs only know how to follow commands. But if it were purely instinct, why are there dogs who walk tens of miles to find a deceased owner? Why are there dogs who lie beside a grave year after year? Though no one calls their name, no one taught them how to do that. Because love doesn't need teaching, it just needs to be felt. When a dog lays its head on your leg, that's not asking for petting. That's its way of saying, I belong to you. I trust you. And in the dog's world, trust is the highest form of love. So next time someone says, dogs are only loyal out of instinct, smile, look into those teary eyes, and remember they weren't programmed to love you. They chose to love you every day. In the end, how do dogs see humans? Not by sight alone, nor by reason. They see us with their heart, by the familiar rhythm, by the breath and energy they sense. To them, you are not the owner. You are part of the pack, you are the place to come home to. You are the warmth that gives their world meaning. When you smile, they feel peace. When you are sad, they lean in quietly understanding. When you sleep, they stay beside you not because of instinct, but because of loyalty interwoven with pure love. In their eyes, you aren't just a figure, a voice, or a scent. You are the star in their small sky. You are the center that makes everything safe and orderly. And every time they gaze at you, that look isn't just saying, "I love you," it's whispering, "I see you. I trust you. I will always be here." So next time your dog of yours lifts its head and looks at you for a long time, don't just see a pair of eyes. See the most honest love in the world, love without words, without change, without conditions. And sometimes just one gentle stroke, one responded look is enough to say, "I love you just the same."